So as we finish up, we're going to finish up over the next 5 minutes. I have a few things that you may want to consider investing in, and I will toss it over to my panelists here. The first is if you actually type in to Google invest in metaverse stocks, things show up. So remember, we had that at 6 o'clock, I showed you that chart of family offices, and 25% of their portfolios go into public equities, which means stocks, and 27% goes into real estate, and 22% goes into private businesses. So these are businesses we could buy, start, invest in through the Bet on Black pitches, et cetera. We are able to invest in public companies that are putting big dollars or small dollars into stocks, into the metaverse, or into artificial intelligence, or into NFTs. So again, if you start looking around and start thinking about 10 years from now, where is the stock going to be? Are they embracing these new technologies that are coming in? Number two, you can invest in real estate in the metaverse. So again, you can Google it, how to invest in real estate or metaverse real estate. And you can see different ways. People are starting to buy lots of land, in quotes, in the metaverse. So, and some of this is actually very, it's very strategic. Like people are buying plots of metaverse land next to places that they think are going to be highly trafficked, just like you would on regular, in a physical space. So you could also invest in crypto. So I'm not telling you what coins to invest in, but it is an option for you. Or there are even metaverse or artificial intelligence EFTs. So let's say you don't want to invest in a single stock, you can invest in a group of stocks in some of the ETFs that are out there. And then with regards to private companies, we talked about the Bet on Black pitches, and I'm hoping that some of we've actually had a couple of companies, Tawana, that are doing things in AI and NFTs and crypto.
More than a couple, absolutely.
Yeah, so there are some Black founders you can support with regards to that through the Bet on Black pitches. You can also, if you are looking at certain companies and you think, this could be an acquisition target, and you have an opportunity to invest in them, either as a private business or as a publicly traded stock, a lot of people will do that. They will say, I think that Google or Facebook or some big company is going to buy this in the next 5 years. I'm going to invest in this company and hold on to the shares until it's purchased. So the other thing Anne mentioned, investing in your own knowledge, investing in upskilling yourself. Sometimes that's the best investment that you can make, is investing in your ability to keep up with what is happening in this new technology. And the final thing I will say is, we as Black people tend to over-index in social media. However, the kids of the tech startups do not spend a lot of time on social media. Their parents require them to turn off the social media and only have a certain amount of time on social media. I think that they have access to certain studies that we don't have. So one of the things I want to encourage you to invest in is invest in real relationships offline, and outside of the metaverse and AI as well. So with that, I'm going to open it up to my panelists here. Talisha, do you want to go?
So the investments are very interesting in this space at this point, and we're looking for newness. I think is always, everybody's going to be like, what's the hottest thing? It's not always the hottest thing. It's what really has the utility. We're really asking that question first and foremost. And a lot of this is built, again, on the infrastructure. So you're investing in not just the collectibles or the hot new item that you want. You're really looking to see projects that have sustainability and a strong utility. Like I said, I have a NFT healthcare collection out right now, which is bringing telehealth visits to the metaverse. So there will be a metaverse clinic. You go in there as a holder of the NFT and you get to talk to a professional, a telehealth professional. That's a utility that isn't going anywhere. You do that now, correct? With your insurance card. This is the same kind of thing. Now you just have another place and an alternative to do that, and you don't need insurance. So that's the things that we're looking at. Those are just an example of just looking at strong utility where you're saying, yeah, it would be nice if I could only do this, or what if I could do this a little differently? When you think of that and conceptualize that, then you're looking for things instead of just randomly coming across projects, because they're always out here. There's a ton of them every single day, and trying to read white papers and understand what people are saying is a skill unto itself. So I don't suggest you're going to pick that up. I've been reading white papers since 2016, and I read 20 to 30 a day, and it's not fun. So look for things that really will mean something to you, just as you would invest in the stock, or you look for things that you utilize, find those things, and then really kind of go back and double check and find communities that say, hey, what does this mean? Is this really solvent? What else should I be looking for? And I think you'll make a better way of your portfolio, and as for you to have some utility in the things that you're buying.
And Talisha, I know the name of your project is Crypto Docs. Can you put that information in the chat for anybody who's interested? And then Anne, if you can go.
Yeah, that was great, Talisha, especially the things you're focusing on utility. And that's what I look for as well. I'm thinking about what are things that we're going to need, in the future. Like, for example, I think it was like I was with a friend and we were actually looking up like Black billionaires, like how many are there? And it was like one of them, they just own a ton of things, for growing and processing. I think it's like wheat or like wheat/flour, sugar, and there was like something else where it's stuff where it's like, oh, that goes into how much of the world's supply of food, right? And that's in the real world. You want to think about, like, when you start talking about the metaverse and like crypto NFTs, you want to really understand, like, okay, why do we think this is going to have a future? There's a lot of, I'll say there are a lot of scams out there where people will say, oh man, this is, it's urgent, it's going to go away any second, which a lot of those things do move very quickly. But the thing is, there are a lot of people out there that are taking advantage of that and saying, man, this is going to move really quickly. You better get in right now. And they just say, you're just so new, you don't understand, or if you don't understand, it's okay. My thing is, like, I'll say, for the type of investor I would rather miss out on an opportunity that I didn't understand and find out later that it's legit than jump into something and not be certain that it's a legitimate opportunity. I'm okay with losing money on a legitimate opportunity that I did my due diligence and it's more so like it just didn't work out than, something where, like, there's nothing really behind it. Like, the people who created it could just like disappear any day now. So you really want to make sure that, like, you understand and it makes sense to you, because there are a lot of people who want to take advantage of people who, don't know what's going on and get caught up in like the hype cycles and the FOMO, and like, you got to do it now because it's going to sell out right when it drops, like their Jordans or something. Like, you don't want to, like, I'll say, if you want to buy like the metaverse version of Jordans, like, you're welcome to, but that's probably not going to be the thing that you build generational wealth upon.
Luana, final
in
comment?
closing, first of all, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. This conversation was everything I knew it would be. But it's a lot to talk about, right? And it's a lot to understand. And for anyone just hearing these terms for the first time, we know it's going to be overwhelming. So one of the things I'd like to do, Talisha and Cherie, I'd like for us to put together just some practical guidelines for people, right? Like, so for instance, what's a wallet? Where can they go, to get a reliable Web3 wallet so that they can start to invest in NFTs and in the metaverse? What are some of the reliable and reputable marketplaces that they can use, right? Like OpenSea and Decentraland and all of these places where they can go. and really give the people something that they can refer back to. It'll be in our knowledge center. So you got to be a member, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, however you see it. But we'll create this document or these documents and put them in our knowledge center so that you guys can have a resource, because it is a lot of information. And what we talked about here today, there could be a part 7 to this conversation, right? And we could break it down in smaller bites because it's so much information. You know, I see people saying they're going to do some research. This conversation was good. You know, I'm an owner of NFTs. I'm actually getting ready to buy some land in the metaverse and on Mars. That's something I'm getting ready to do in the next week, actually. And so, you know, but that took me a lot of time learning what all of this was and taking some risk and really researching, but it's a lot. So please, you know, look forward to that resource in the Knowledge Center for those of you who are members. For those of you who are not yet members, we hope tonight's conversation was a good taste of what we provide here at the 10K Project. If you go to the10kproject.com, you can look at our membership packages. You can look at our explainer video to see everything that we're about. You know, we truly want to be the place you come to educate yourself and learn about how to build wealth, right, as we go forward. Everything we talked about tonight lends to that conversation on how are you going to build wealth when the world changes around you every second. And so we hope that the value we brought you here this evening was helpful for you. Again, to Ann and Talisha, thank you so very much. And Cherie, I know you've got a 7:30, I've got a 7:30. And for those of you who are meeting me at my early bird 7:30 to talk about buying businesses, I'll meet you over there in 3 minutes. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.